Camel Toes. We all love them, don't we? Anyway, let me show you how I made a side stand enlarger, also known as a camel toe. TM. I was looking through my files the other day and I found some footage that is 4 years old. The footage is about how to make, or how I make, a side stand enlarger. These are also known by the brand name Camel Toe, derived from that the camels have the ability to walk on soft sand. The standard F800GS and countless other bikes, in fact I don't know of any bike that doesn't have this problem. When you park a bike on soft ground on the side stand, the bike usually falls over because the side stand usually does not have the surface area to not sink into the ground. Basically, you're just putting a peg into the ground instead of keeping the motorbike upright. So the solution, the aftermarket solution, is a product that you screw onto the side stand. This makes the side stand surface area much larger, and therefore it prevents the side stand from sinking into the ground and the bike does not fall over. The problem with a aftermarket side stand enlarger is that they increase the height of the bike, of the side stand, which means that the bike is more upright, something that you might not want in a loose surface situation. For example, there aren't very many loose surfaces that are completely level, which means that your bike will be leaning anyway, so having extra non-lean means the bike is less stable. That's not very nice. Also, because of the design of them, it means that the actual plate is not at the optimal location. In fact, the plate is usually centered around the center of the original side stand. This means that when you put the side stand down, you might actually have to push the bike further away from you, which again on a non-level surface might be even more annoying. So, in my opinion, the aftermarket side stand enlarger solutions are not optimal. It is much easier, in my opinion, to cut a piece of steel or stainless steel and weld it to your side stand. Obviously, this requires A, steel, B, grinder, C, welder. Now, if you don't have any of these things, I'm sure you know of a friend who might be able to. Even a garage, a regular motorbike garage, might have a welder and a piece of steel that they could make it of. And the added bonus with a system like this is that it doesn't fall off. I've been riding behind Crazy Kaz and she took a corner and then there was a piece of aluminium that was flinging up onto my face, which turned out to be her side stand enlarger. And not only did it fall off, but it also was made out of aluminium, which means that it was too soft to actually serve its purpose. Anyway, the footage I took 4 years ago doesn't actually show the manufacturing process, but it shows the result of each step. So, without further ado, please have a look at it, and I hope it makes some sense. When you're making a side stand enlarger like this one, you have to make sure that it clears the suspension in full travel. And then another important thing is that when you put the side stand down, if the side stand enlarger goes forward, the side stand is now extended, which in some cases might mean that the bike needs to lean over to the wrong side too much because it sticks out. The same thing goes with whether there's too much plate widthwise, is that it again gives an angle that isn't very good for putting the bike on the actual side stand. Therefore, it's best to have the majority of the plate to the back and not out and forward. And here we have the side stand. I have given it a clean, and now it's time to find a material for the plate. As this is a mild steel side stand, I can use mild steel, or in this case I'll be using some stainless steel. I've placed the side stand on the stainless steel plate, and I've sort of sketched out how I want it enlarged. It is important that the enlargement doesn't go forward and outwards. When I now remove the side stand, you can see the shape of the plate that I'm going to cut out. I'll be using the angle grinder and my bandsaw. And here we have the rough cut of the stainless steel plate. I will now make it a little bit prettier around the edges and things like that, so that it fits better. It's easier to do this when it's not welded to the side stand. And after a bit of grinding and sanding with a flap disc and general shaping, we have this plate now. It's ready to be welded onto the side stand. I also used the flap disc on the side stand. This removes all the powder coat, rust and other dirt, so that we get a nice clean weld on it. I'm going to use my TIG welder to weld the stainless steel plate to the mild steel side stand, and for that I will be using mild steel filler wire. This is how I clamped it up before tack welding it. I simply clamped the stand to a box section and the box section to the table. That allows me to put the plate there parallel to the ground and the side stand and give it a few tack welds so I can weld the rest. And here we have a few tack welds in place. This now allows me to twist and turn it to do the rest of the welds. And after welding it fully, this is what it looks like. The side stand is now welded to the plate on both top and bottom side. Then I attacked it with the grinder and flap disc again to make sure that the bottom is straight, and any extra welds that I don't need are removed. It now looks quite pretty and is ready for some paint. To paint it, I used 2 coats of zinc based primer and then 2 coats of satin black. I used zinc based primer just to minimize the amount of rust that gets formed on the mild steel part. And here is the finished product, a side stand with an enlarged footprint. If you need to paint several coats of paint in a short amount of time, I can recommend using the household oven. You spray 1 or 2 coats of paint and let it flash off, and then you put it in the oven at about 80 degrees C for 5 to 10 to 15 minutes. This will let the solvents evaporate and you can apply more paint, and ultimately when you're done painting you can quickly put it to use. I hope that 4-year-old footage was of any use to you. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all the new subscribers. I'm really honored that you're joining me. I'm looking forward to making more videos, so if you have anything you want to see or any questions, you know what to do. Thank you.